I don't know why the video ended. We were just in our spinal warm-up, so let's continue with that. We were in standing cat and cow, so let's do 2 more. Exhale, standing cat. Inhale, standing cow. Last one, cat and cow, and then return, tall spine. Going into lateral flexion, separate your feet just a tiny bit wider than your hips so you have a nice firm foundation. Place your right hand on your right leg, left arm to the sky, and reach over your body. Stretch. One more. And switch. One more. And release. And I apologize, there's another message coming up. I don't know why, but my Facebook Live is not agreeing with me today. Let's finish our spinal warm-up with rotation. Standing tall in that mountain pose, maybe your feet are still a little bit wider than your hips, that's okay. Let's go into empty coat sleeves. Gently swing the arms, one forward, one back, and add that very small twist, engaging the abdominal muscles. One more each arm. And release. Step wide on your mat. We're going to some lower body warm up here. Turn the toes out, heels in, externally rotating. Hands either behind your hips or at your hips, and go into that hip sway motion. Getting some mobility through those hip joints, through the knee joints. Remain upright, don't lean forward. Not yet. We're going to add that in just a moment. Keep the shoulders relaxed. And now, if you want to add the progression to add the shoulder twist, draw one shoulder forward and then the other as you sway side to side. Keep your chin level, so even though your chest is coming forward, don't bow your head. If you want to come a little deeper into that pose, you can. One more each side. And center, rise up, walk the feet back together. Coming back into mountain pose, stacking everything over the heels. Hands behind the hips or on the hips, shoulders relaxed. And we're going to do some more mobility here, hip circles, like a washing machine. Doesn't matter which direction you start. Pause and go the other way. So our flexibility is also important to include mobility. That'll help our flexibility. Pause. And we're going to finish up our standing sequence. Like I said, very few standing poses today. We're going to do a half forward fold into ragdoll fold, and then come into down dog. After that, we'll be on the mat. So if you want to move your device right now, you can. I'm going to move mine and tilt it slightly upwards so you can still see me. And then we'll start half forward fold at the top of the mat. So go ahead and set your device so that once you finish your down dog, you can go directly into poses on the mat. So I know my head's disappeared right now, but you're going to see it in just a second. Start with those feet, tennis ball distance apart. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, as you start your fold, bend your knees and place your hands either on your thighs or just below the knees. And now tilt your bottoms up like you're going into cow pose. And now straighten your knees. Don't hyperextend, don't lock them out. Make the letter L with your body, and now look forward towards the top of your mat. We're stretching those hamstrings out. And it's purposeful that we've started with bent knees and then added the tilted bottom. That helps to stretch out those hamstrings, especially if they're tight. As your hamstrings relax, see if you can slide a little bit closer to the ankles. And now bow your head. If you're comfortable letting go of your legs, come into ragdoll, cupping the elbows, looking at your knees, relaxing the neck, and just gently sway. Bear the weight evenly in both feet. Find stability through those connections between the balls of the feet, the heels, the toes.
One more breath cycle. Pause the motion, bend your knees, hands to the mat, and we're going to step it back into down dog. One at a time, the feet go back, bend the knees, and lift the hips up as you straighten the knees. Lift up through the armpits, press your thigh bones into your legs. If you want, add a yes or no gesture with your head. And then prance your down dog, dropping one heel at a time. Keep the ears close to your arms, lift through the armpits. One more breath cycle. And now bend both knees all the way down to the mat. Release the toenails to touch the mat. And we're going to go into our hands and knees segment. So if you want a little cushion for your knees, you can grab a hand towel or a knee pad. Spread your hands wide like stars. Place them on the mat. Shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. Press in with the fingerprints, the knuckle pads, and the heels of the palms. That helps to protect your wrist. Let's sway the hips here. Just a gentle sway side to side. Think about drawing the navel up into your spine as you pass through center. And now you don't need to look at your device, so don't turn your neck here. Just look forward of your fingertips. And now pause the motion, and we'll go into cat and cow. Balancing a beverage on the back of your neck to start, neutral spine, inhale. And now exhale, let the beverage slide off your neck as you draw your belly up to the sky, into your rib cage, and now dropping the belly down, inhaling, draw the chin forward. Go at your own pace, cat and cow. Drawing the navel up, and then inhaling the navel down. If you want, add a little bending of the elbows to increase the range of motion. And just like we did in standing cat and cow, exaggerate the motion. Get a lot of mobility through that spine because it helps our flexibility. Next time you're up in cat pose, go ahead and stay there, arching your back like a howling cat. And we're going to add child's pose to this sequence. So shift your hips back. And now inhale, scoop it forward. Exhale into cat. Continue to exhale to child's pose. Inhale, scoop forward. At your own pace, continue that motion like you're making a circle with your heart. Next time you're in cat pose, again, pause in cat pose. We're going to add one more pose to this, and it's a stretch through the entire front body. We're going to come into a kneeling pose after cow stretch. So exhale back into child's pose. Inhale, scoop forward into cow. Pass through neutral spine, push off the mat, stretch the front body, and then exhale, lower the hands back down. Inhale, neutral spine. Exhale, cat stretch. Continue the exhale to child's pose. Inhale, scoop it forward, cow. Push off the mat. Inhaling as you stretch up. Exhale, hands come down. We'll do that one more time. Neutral spine. Inhale. Exhale, cat. Continue into child's. Scoop forward, inhaling. Push off the mat, stretching up. And then exhale the hands all the way down. We're going to go into thread the needle pose here. And on this one, if you want to have a head support, you could either use a cushion or a yoga block for your head as you come down into thread the needle pose. So you pick. You could also use your hand towel. So lots of options for props here. Keeping your left hand on the mat, pick up your right hand, flip the palm to face up, and thread it behind the arm as you lower your right shoulder on the right side of your head down to the mat. And now here's where you could tuck something underneath your head if that's more comfortable to you. We're stretching the back of the right shoulder here, and we're going to do 4 variations for the left arm. each one for 2 breath cycles. First variation, lift the left hand to the sky. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Take the back of the left hand to your low back, opening through the front of the left shoulder. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And now take that left hand to the top left corner of your mat, maybe even crawling it off the edge of the mat to lengthen that arm as much as you can, stretching through the side body, latissimus dorsi. Inhale, exhale. One more, inhale, exhale. Last variation, creep those fingertips over to the top right corner of your mat. For a deeper stretch, take 2 more breath cycles. Inhale, exhale. Last one, inhale, exhale. Return that left hand to the original position. As you pick up out of the pose and you unthread the right arm, lift the right fingertips all the way up to the sky. Follow it with your gaze. Breathe and release down. Take a quick child's pose. We're going to do that same pose on the other side. So pull yourselves forward into table again. Keep your right hand on the mat. Lift your left hand up. Flip the palm to face up. And thread the arm behind the right, lowering the head and the shoulder to the mat. Again, you can place something under your head. And we're going to add variations once again for the right arm, continuing to stretch the back of the left shoulder. First one, right arm to the sky. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Take the back of the right hand to the low back. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Take that right hand to the top right corner, stretching the arm long. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last variation, creep those right fingertips to the top left corner of your mat, maybe walking off the edge of the mat. Inhale, exhale. Last one, inhale, exhale. Return that right hand to the original position. Push into the earth, unthread the left arm, reach it up to the sky, follow it with your gaze. Breathe and release the hand down. Take a quick child's pose. And then we're going to add a puppy pose, a puppy stretch here. Pull yourselves forward, walk the hands to the top of your mat. Draw the belly down, melting the heart towards the mat as you lift up through the armpits. Let the ears be close to the arms. Breathe. Imagine you're trying to pull your hands away from each other without actually moving, and feel that change the stretch in your upper back. One more breath cycle. Lower those elbows and crawl back to child's pose. If you want, you could place something under your head once again, or you could even stack your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. We're going to add the rotation variation to our child's pose. So walk both hands to the left edge of your mat and push your hips to the right. Allow your chin or cheek to rest against your left shoulder. Bow your head, close your eyes. Let your right hip be heavy. Imagine that diagonal line from the bottom of your rib cage at the center body, diagonally towards the right hip. Let that right hip sink a little lower. Remember the rubber band, let the muscles relax first. And we'll switch. Walk those hands over to the right edge and shift your hips left. Allow the chin or cheek to rest against the right arm or shoulder. Heavy, heavy left hip. One more breath cycle. Return to center and pull yourselves back into table, all fours. We're going to go into pigeon pose here. I'm going to show it traditional pigeon pose first, but then I'll also offer the option if you want to do pigeon pose lying on your back, or sometimes we call that figure 4, lying on your back. First, I'll show traditional pigeon. Draw your right knee forward, and then spin that foot in front of the left knee, and creep your left toes back to the bottom of your mat. Now, sometimes if you can get this foot parallel to the top of your mat, that'll be a deeper stretch, but keep it gentle. Today, I'm just going to keep it right here at a nice diagonal line. Again, we can use a prop to support our head, so if you want, and this will actually be very helpful for your neck. So go ahead and either grab your cushion or your block, lower your elbows to the mat, and rest your forehead on your prop. With this variation, your neck is relaxed. You're not trying to hold up the weight of the head with the muscles of the neck. Breathe. Let everything be soft in that right leg. Think about the toes. Give them a little wiggle. Relax the arch of the foot, the ankle, the calf. Keep breathing, deep yoga breath. And move upward, the thigh and the hip. Everything relaxed. Take 2 more breath cycles. And now lift the head from your prop. Move it out of the way for the second as you lift up. And we'll transition back into table. So slide that left knee back in. And move that right knee back into position. And if that wasn't comfortable, I hope you flipped over onto your back. This time I will show it, but again, we've done it before where you just lie on your back and come into that same figure 4 pose. Draw your left knee forward, spin the left foot in front of the right knee, and then creep that right foot back to the bottom of your mat. Again, set your prop in place, either your cushion or your block. Lower to your elbows, and then rest your forehead on your prop. And if this does not feel good on your knees, this time I will actually show moving onto your back. You can just spin it over. That same leg is bent, and we're in that figure 4 stretch. We're stretching the same muscles, deep muscles in the hip, gluteus medius, piriformis. But the traditional pigeon pose, where we're actually on our knees, is a little bit more intense because gravity is actually pushing down on our body, helping us to get a deeper stretch instead of us having to do it with our hands by pulling on the leg. This way, gravity is doing the work for our stretch. Visualize an ice cube on a hot pavement, melting. Melt your left hip. And take 2 more breath cycles. Lift your head off of your prop. Move it off to the side. We're going to come back into our table pose. So if you're lying on your back, go ahead and flip it back over, and everyone come back into your table pose. And we're going to transition off of our hands and knees into lying on our belly. So if you're using a little pad and you want to get rid of it, you can move it off to the side and then come all the way down to your belly. We're going to go into half frog pose. So here's the option if you want to use a little hand towel, or again, you could use a cushion. So with your elbows propped on the mat, we'll set it up and then we'll be lowering our head down. We'll start with the left leg, that's the one you can see. I'm drawing my left knee off the edge of the mat and bringing that knee aligned horizontally with my hip. And now don't swing your foot out or in. You want the heel in line vertically with the knee, and the foot is flexed. Here is where you can use your little towel under your knee if you need that little cushion. And now lower your head down, let the elbows splay out to the side, and lower your head to rest one side of your face on your arms. Half frog pose, Ardha Chandrasana. There's a couple variations of half frog pose. One of them pulls the foot up towards the bottom. This is a little more relaxing stretch to have the knee just resting up to the side. Take 2 more breath cycles. And we're going to return back that leg onto the mat. So walk the foot and knee back onto the mat. And we'll take that pose off to the other side. So come back up onto your elbows to set up the pose. Start to slide that right knee off the edge of the mat, bringing that knee horizontally aligned with the hip, letting the heel be vertically aligned with the knee, and flex the foot. Again, if you need to tuck a little cushion underneath that knee for support, go ahead and allow that hand towel to rest underneath the knee. Open the elbows out to the side again and rest the side of your face, maybe the other side this time, on your hands. Take 2 more breath cycles. And now start to heel toe that foot back down to the bottom of the mat. Returning to both legs at the bottom of your mat. And we'll do one more pose on our belly. We'll do Sphinx pose. So bring your elbows back onto the mat, propping yourselves up. Palms are flat on the mat. And now line up your shoulder and your elbow. So you've got a vertical line here. And we start with the body relaxed. There's lots of contact to the mat. Your fingerprints, your knuckle pads, the heels of the palms, the forearms, the elbows, the pubic bone, the thighs, and the tops of the feet. Everything stays connected as we go into Sphinx pose. And we'll hold our Sphinx pose for 3 breath cycles. So take 1 normal breath cycle in and out. And on your next inhale, grow through the shoulders. Pinch a pencil between your shoulder blades. Stay here, exhale. Stay here, inhale. Stay here, exhale. Stay here, inhale. And let your next exhale lower your body back down. Splay the elbows out to the side. And once again, rest the side of your face on your hands. We're going to transition from these prone poses into seated poses. So push your chest off the mat. And we're going to sit on either a cushion or a block, whatever's comfortable to you, just to lift your hips up slightly off the mat. And coming into easy sit or easy pose, Sukhasana, with your ankles crossed in front, one in front of the other, knees open to the side. And if I were to take my block away, and I'll show you that, taking my block away, my knees lifted up. So it's a lot easier to get that stretch of the inner thighs if the hips are just slightly higher And now my knees go ahead and flatten out, and I get that more intense stretch or that enhanced stretch through the inner thighs. Easy sit pose. Breathe. Take one more breath cycle. And it doesn't matter which foot was in front, because now I want you to switch the foot that's in front. Maybe adjust your block again. And then just rest your hands. Let's palms open to the sky this time. Draw those shoulder blades into your back pockets. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breath cycles. We're going to transition into bound angle pose now. So move the feet out towards the knees and then bring the soles of the feet together. And now your knees might be floating. That's okay. If you want to move your blocker cushion out, you can. Or in this pose, you can stay on your blocker cushion. Take your hands like you're opening a book and place them on the outside edges of the feet. Lift up through the shoulders and chest. Breathe. And we're going to add a fold to our bound angle pose. So start to draw the chest forward just an inch or so and drop the elbows down towards your thighs. If you want, you can bow the head, but don't curl the spine. Keep those shoulders externally rotated, keeping strength and stability through the upper back and shoulders. Remember your rubber band. If the muscles are relaxing, then you can add a little more stretch. One more breath cycle. And lift the chest. Stay here in bound angle, but we're going to add a little foot massage here. So take your thumbs and just work into the arches of the feet. Maybe the fingers on the tops of the feet, the instep. Working your way down towards the balls of the feet and the toes. Maybe bend each digit. And now take your knees and close the knees with your hands. We're going to come off of our prop, so go ahead and move your block or your cushion aside as you extend your legs forward. We're going to come into open angle. So make your V shape. It could be small or moderate, or it could be very wide. You pick. Move the fleshy part of your bottoms away from your sits bones. Sit tall. Once again, place your palms to face up. Rotate those shoulders back, external rotation. And we're going to add a fold and a rotation. So start to draw your chest forward. If you want, you can turn the palms to face down on your legs, or you can bring them in front of your body. Draw the elbows down. You can bow the head, but keep the spine long. If the muscles are relaxing and you want to crawl forward another palm print, you can. Draw the elbows down again. And we're going to add rotation here. Keeping your right hand where it is, lift your left hand to the sky and follow it with your gaze. And release. Keeping your left hand on the earth, take your right hand to the sky, follow it with your gaze. Open up that right side body. And release. Walk your hands back towards your body, lifting the chest. Pick up your knees from underneath, draw them into your chest, and give them a little hug. And then sit tall and extend your left leg out. We're going to go into that figure 4 seated pose. Very similar stretch to our pigeon pose that we already did, except now we're going to do it seated. So take your right ankle on top of your left thigh, hands behind, recline slightly, and then bend your left knee. Set it up for your stretch, less intensity, the foot is further from your hip, more intensity or even maximum intensity, the foot and the hip are very close. Wiggle the toes. Take one more breath cycle here in the static pose, and we're going to add a little dynamic version of this. Very small, push the right foot towards the left and back to center. Go at your own pace. Just adding a tiny bit of motion to our stretch. Feel how that changes the stretch in the right hip. Deep muscles, gluteus medius, piriformis. And now pause the motion and straighten both legs out. Away from your hips, sitting tall. And put a little tiny bend in your right knee. You're going to reach down with the left hand and reach for the outside edge of the foot. Let your right hand support you, just resting on the mat. And now point the toes away and draw them back in. Feel how that changes the stretch in the back body. Do that again. Point the toes away, feel the stretch in the back body, and draw them back in. This time we're going to add. Point the toes away and round the back, tuck the chin. And release. We're going to add one more variation here. Point the toes away, round the back, and peek underneath the arm. And release. Go ahead and sit all the way up. Draw that right knee in as you sit up and place that right foot against your left inner leg. If you need cushion underneath your ankle here, you can use your hand towel if that's more comfortable, so your ankle bone isn't pressing on any hard surface. Going into head to knee pose, look towards your left toes, hands below the left knee. Fold from the hip crease, drawing the chest forward, drawing the elbows down. Look towards the toes. Imagine your head is trying to reach down and touch your nose to your toes. And you can bow your head now. Once you've got the feeling of length in your spine, you can bow your head. Keep the length in the spine though. We are going to add a couple variations of head to knee. And the first one is a bind. Keeping your right hand where it is, pick up your left hand, thread that hand behind the right arm, and set the left hand on your right inner thigh. Keep looking at your left leg. And now send your hands away from each other, letting the right hand push further towards the ankle and the left hand push further towards the right knee. Breathe. Keep that pressure on the bind for one more breath cycle. Release the pressure and return the left hand to the left leg. We're going to go into a baby version of stargazer. Hips are going to stay on the mat today. Inhale, lift that right arm up to the sky. Place it on the mat behind you. Lift your left arm to the sky. Stay here, hips stay down, and bring the arms back. Windmill the arms back to the left leg. We'll do it twice more, keeping the hips on the mat today. Float that right arm up, set it on the mat, float the left arm up, look at the fingertips, and then windmill the arms back to the left leg. Last time, right arm up, touch, left arm up, stretch, and windmill the arms back to the leg. Walk your hands back towards your body to lift the chest, and we'll go into cradle pose. Last pose on this side. Pick up that right foot with your left hand, cradle that bent leg, and gently rock. If it's accessible to you to go deeper into the pose, you can draw the foot into the eye of the elbow, as long as you can then regain your upright pose. If you cannot regain your upright spine, then stay here with the hand connected to the foot. Shoulders relaxed. One more breath cycle. And release. Send that foot forward. And we're going to go into that sequence on the other side, starting with our figure 4. Draw the left foot in. Place the left ankle on the right thigh. Hands behind, recline, and bend that right knee. Again, you can set it up for your stretch. Less intensity, moderate intensity, maximum intensity. No turtles here, long neck. Don't let your head slide down into your shoulders. Wiggle the toes to relax the feet. And if you feel some relaxation in this pose, you can add the rocking motion. Very small. Push the left foot towards the right and then back. Very small rocking motion, enhancing the stretch in those deep muscles of the hip, gluteus medius and piriformis. One more breath cycle. Pause. Go ahead and straighten both legs out. Put a little bend in your left knee. Take your right hand and reach down to the outside edge of the foot. Place your left hand on the mat out to the side to support. And now point the toes away and bend the knee. Point the toes away and bend the knee. Adding the variation now to enhance the stretch. Point the toes away, round your back, tuck the chin, and release. Do that again. Point the toes away, round the back, tuck the chin, and release. Last time we'll add that peek under the arm. Point the toes away, round the back, peek under the arm. Hold it here, keep breathing. And relax. Lift all the way up. We're going to head to knee pose, so draw that left foot in, lower the knee. If you want that cushion, again, under your ankle bone, that's more comfortable, go ahead and place it there. Sit tall, fold from the hip crease, let your hands rest just below the knee, draw the elbows down, gaze towards those right toes, lengthen the spine. If you want, bow the head once you get that length in the spine. Don't lose the length in the spine. Targeting the stretch on the left side body here, the outer thigh, the hip, and the low back. And let's add those variations, enhancing our stretch with the bind. Keep your left hand where it is, pick up your right, thread it behind your left arm, and set that right hand on the left inner thigh, but keep looking at your right leg. And now separate the hands, pushing your left hand towards the right ankle, and your right hand towards the left knee. Keep the bind, keep the pressure on the bind, but keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. One more breath cycle. Release the pressure. Return the right hand to the right leg, and we'll add our stargazer, our baby stargazer today. Hips stay on the mat. Inhale, lift your left arm up, set it on the mat behind you, lift your right hand up, look at the hand. Windmill the arms back to the right leg. Twice more. Left arm up, and it touches. Right arm up, and it reaches. Windmill return. Last one. Left arm up, and back behind. Right arm up, and reaching. Stretch as high as you can, and then windmill those arms back into your head to knee pose. And then draw the hands back towards your body to lift the chest. And we'll go into cradle. Pick up the left foot with the right hand. Cradle the bent knee with the left arm and add that gentle rocking motion. Option, if it's accessible, to bring that foot to the eye of the elbow and remain upright. You can go deeper. Deep stretch here for the hip. One more breath cycle. Pause. Send those legs out, shake out the knees. We're going to go into our lying on the back poses. We're done with all our props, so we want to move them out of the way so they're not going to get knocked over. Go ahead and swing your feet to the skinny end of your mat, coming all the way down onto your back. You can use your elbows and shoulders to help you, or you could use core strength, lowering all the way down as slowly as you can. When you get there, hug your knees into your body, add a little sway. And then plant both feet flat on the mat. Adjust your low back, make a nice connection with the low back to the mat, and we'll draw that left knee into your body and straighten out the right leg. Draw that left knee as close as you can into the body. Relax the shoulders down into the mat, and we're stretching the right hip flexor here. And we'll go into some stretches for the inner outer thighs as well as the back of the thigh, the hamstring. Take your left hand on the left leg, open that bent knee to the left, stretching that inner thigh. And this is a lot like that half frog pose that we did lying on our belly. We just flipped it over. One more breath cycle. Push the knee back to center. Take your right hand on that bent left knee and draw it across your body. If you need some support, you can take that left arm out to the T shape. Relax the shoulders, let them fall into the mat. And if you want to add a deeper hip stretch here, I'll offer one variation, and that is to draw that knee closer to your chest and maybe reach down and grab the calf or even the heel with your right hand. Tucking that knee as close as you can to your chest, getting a deeper stretch on the left hip. One more breath cycle. And bring that knee back to center. Extend that leg to the sky and place both hands behind your thigh. Relax the shoulders down as you pull that straight leg towards your body. Keep the leg in the air, but release the pressure. You can keep your hands on the thigh or you can let go and add a little ankle mobility here. Making some circles, changing direction, pointing and flexing, and a little rock and roll. Hug the knee into the chest. And we'll do that sequence on the other side. So send your left foot to the bottom of your mat. Draw your right knee into your chest. Hug it tightly into your chest to stretch that left hip flexor. Relax the shoulders, let them fall into the mat. And now keeping your right hand on that right bent leg, open it to the right. Inner thigh stretch, groin stretch. Push the knee back to center and we'll switch. Taking your left hand on the right bent leg, draw it across your body. Your right arm can come into the T or a cactus arm. And you can stay here. You don't have to add the variation that I offered for the deeper hip stretch, but if you want, draw that knee closer to your chest and then reach down towards the calf or maybe even the heel with your left hand to deepen that hip stretch. Close your eyes. One more breath cycle. And bring that knee back to center. Extend the leg to the sky. Bring your hands behind the thigh and then pull that straight leg towards your body. Relax the shoulders into the mat. Keep the leg straight so we're getting the maximum benefit of the stretch on the back of the leg. Keep the leg in the air, but release the pressure. Your hands can remain there or not. And now add your ankle mobility, starting with some circles and reversing the direction. Point and flex. And then rock side to side. Hug the knee into the chest again. Draw the left knee in as well, hugging both knees into the chest. And then plant the feet on the mat, going into windshield wipers. So set your feet wide, a little bit wider than your hips. Hands can rest on your belly, or you can come into a T or cactus arms, and then start to drop the knees together to one side and together to the other side. A little hip mobility here, preparing for open belly twist. Next time your knees are to the left, hold them there. Stack one knee on top of the other. And now draw that right shoulder down into the mat. It helps to turn and look at your right shoulder. Knees and feet are stacked. And we're going to add a stretch for the top of the thigh now. So pick your right shoulder up off the mat so that you're lying on your side, and let your left arm be a pillow for your head. Pick up the top leg and draw the heel towards your bottom, as tightly as you can towards your bottom, and then push the foot into the hand. Enhance the stretch on the quadriceps. One more breath cycle. Restack the knees. Inhale the knees to center, and we'll take that to the other side. Adjust your low back, make a nice connection there, and then lower both knees to the side. Again, your arms could be in cactus arms or up to a T. Keep that left shoulder on the mat. It helps to turn and look at your left shoulder. We're going to add the quadriceps stretch on this side. I'll be turning away from you. It's the same thing that we just did. So lift that left shoulder up off the mat. Let your right arm be a pillow. Lying on your side. Float the left leg. Draw that heel to your bottom by grabbing the foot. And then push the foot into the hand. One more breath cycle. Release the foot, come back all the way onto your spine. Hug your knees again. And just one more pose here. We're going to go into Apanasana, a pose that aids the digestive system. And it's a nice mobility pose for the hips. So draw the knees together, big toes touching, hands on top of your knees. Feet are floating, and then just push and pull the knees in and out from the body. The feet don't touch the ground, they stay floating the entire time. Stimulating the organs of the digestive system here. Massaging through the low back, little stretch for the hips as well. And we can add a little circular motion if you like. Keep the knees glued together and circle the knees like you're stirring a pot. Doesn't matter which direction you started. Look at the other one. Draw one more circle in this direction and then pause and go the other way. Pause, plant the feet flat, and we'll go into happy baby to finish it off. Separate your knees and feet wide. Draw the knees towards your chest, flex the feet, let the soles of the feet look up at the ceiling, and then you can place your hands either on your shins, you can grab the ankles or the big toes, or you can wrap the fingers to the soles of the feet. Allow the bent knees to draw closer to your armpits, and then relax the shoulders towards the mat. Don't twist your neck now, look up at the ceiling, let your hips feel heavy. Maybe add a sway if that feels good. Happy baby pose, low back and hip stretch. And with your legs wide, you get a little bonus inner thigh groin stretch. 2 more breath cycles. Pause. Return the arms to the earth, one at a time. bring the feet down to the mat. Send your legs long. Going into corpse pose, palms open to the sky. And again, don't twist your neck here. Allow your nose to point up to the ceiling. Relax your brow, your eyes, your cheekbones, your throat, your tongue. Let your jaw be soft. Everything sinking into your mat. Deep yoga breaths. Survey your body. Lots of stretching today. No strength poses. No balance. Just a gentle practice. Take one more breath cycle. And we'll return to a seated pose. So roll to your side, push into the earth, coming back to a seated pose. You can sit with your legs extended or in a cross-legged pose. Easy sit, Sukhasana. My quote today is from Bruce Lee, and it's about flexibility. The stiffest tree is most easily cracked, while the bamboo survives by bending with the wind. Bring your hands outside your hips. Inhale to the sky. Let your thumbs touch your mind, your spirit breath in your body. The spirit in me honors the spirit in all of you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. I apologize for the glitch. It's probably my internet that had a glitch. So this is a two-part video. The first 5 minutes or so are a separate video, and then this finishes it up. Until next time, my friends, keep breathing.